Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I, too, although I'm not a regular member of this committee, will miss your leadership on our full committee and on other subcommittees, and really appreciate your service as we have overlapped since our first day here. But appreciate you very, very much. Thank you. All right, now to the questions. EPA decided to give third-party organizations a mandate to monitor and publish emissions data that can later be used for enforcement proceedings in the methane emissions reduction program. Now, Congress has created quasi-governmental monitoring organizations in the past, but I'm not sure where the EPA gets that power or whether or not Congress has ever given them that power. So I'm asking you, can you give me a site for the authority for the EPA to create these third-party monitors out of the Clean Air Act?
We based or identify our legal authority in both Section 111 and Section 114 of the Clean Air Act.
But neither of those references third-party organizations, if I remember having read them correctly. They don't reference third-party organizations doing the monitoring. So let me ask you this. Let's assume for the sake of argument that you actually have the authority to create it for the time being. How will these third-party emissions reports interact with the methane emissions on tax computations?
Let me answer the question. It's a two-part answer. What we finalized for the super emitter program puts EPA back in a very important role. While third parties who have to be certified collect information, now they submit the information under what we finalized to us. We review the information and the data, and then we provide the information and data to the operator before we make anything public. So this is back in the sort of EPA envelope or envelope of
They
data
give you
collection.
the information.
Yes, we get
Then
the
you
information.
do whatever you're going to do with it, and then you tell the company before anything's ever made public. But what do you do with the tax? You're using that data then ultimately to create the tax computation. Is that correct?
Well, no, that's
So
a-
you're not going to use that data at all for the tax computation.
well, we have
Either you're using it some, you're using it none, or you're using it exclusively. Pick you one of the three. It's real simple. Are you using it at all?
we have,
Yes or no?
We have a proposal out that addresses this issue and asks for comment, and we'll soon have a second proposal out under the waste emissions charge that will address this as well. So we are in the middle of engaging with stakeholders in the industry around these questions.
So after whatever the process is comes up, what's the standard of proof to change that result?
It'll be what we hear from, what we see in the record, what we've gotten from stakeholders.
So they get to
information.
decide if the standard is preponderance or clear and convincing?
I'm sorry?
I'm asking you for the evidentiary level to change the finding of this organization or this process that you've got. What's the evidentiary standing for a company to come in and say, we challenge it? Is it going to be preponderance of the evidence? Is it going to be clear and convincing, or is it some other standard? I mean, clearly you're not leaving that up to stakeholders to decide, are you?
No, not at all.
Yeah, of course not. So, but that's what you told me just now, so I think you misunderstood my question. So the question is, what's the standard of proof going to be to change the collection, after you've collected the data and whatever process you come up with, what's going to be the standard of proof to challenge that?
Well, again, we're going to be looking at the quality of the information that.
Okay, I'm asking you the standard of proof. Clear and convincing evidence, preponderance of the evidence, what's your standard? If you don't know, it's fine.
I'm sorry to be dense, but we usually don't think in those terms. We think of what really is supportable by the information that's submitted to us.
And will the company, as my time's running out, will each gas and oil well operator have to come before the EPA and dispute the data that's collected in the process that's gone through each year as to how much methane actually escaped? Or will that be something that you do over a period of years? Is it going to be an annual review, or are you going to have a review every several years?
What's required in the context of reporting, in the context of the waste emissions charge, this is an annual system.
It's an annual system. Okay, that was what I was looking for. So you've still got, some of this stuff still has to be baked, and then hopefully it'll be a little bit better. I've only got a couple seconds left. I will tell you, without being compelled to do so by government, in any form or manner. Company that's operating in my district is now pulling methane out of active coal mines because it makes sense to do it, not only from an environmental standpoint, but because they can then mix it with natural gas and make money off of it, and this helps the environment and helps create dollars in the United States. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.